This is a place for planting, for digging, for harvesting, for relaxing. It's a place to get your hands dirty, but most of all, it's about having fun. And that's what you'll always have when you're in the garden with Doug Oster. You want a green thumb too, don't you? Boy, does spring arrive quickly. It's exhilarating, but also a little bit overwhelming. You can only get done, though, what you can get done in a day. Our first job today is a great start to the season. We're going to be planting these peas that we started in the greenhouse. They have sprouted, and boy, that's a good feeling. Well, we started these peas on St. Patrick's Day in the greenhouse, and the reason we did it that way, it was just too cold out here. They don't like to be transplanted, so they're in these peat pots. When we sink these peat pots down into the ground, the peat pot will decompose and the peas can do their thing. These are sugar magnolia purple pod peas from John Sheeper's kitchen garden, and they grow 6 feet tall. I've got a nice bed of compost here, and so all we got to do is sink these down in here, and eventually we'll put something in here to support them. This compost looks good, and that's all we got to do. One thing, try and keep the top of that peat pot, kind of pull it back because it'll draw moisture away from the plant. And just a few inches apart will be good. All right, peas in place, but peas love cold weather, but rabbits love peas, and I think I've got a rabbit somewhere in here. I'll show you why I think that in a minute. And then we've got lots of things that we're actually harvesting already that we kept going all winter long. So even though I've got this garden fenced, look at this. I made the Swiss chard go through the winter, but something is coming after it. I'm just guessing rabbit, but I'm not sure. And so I had this open to get some water in here, and by the end of the day, this is what I saw. Now I have it closed, but it's going to get too hot in here for Swiss chard. But I've got lots of other stuff out in the garden that has to be harvested because it's already going to seed, and that's what we're going to see next. So it's always exciting to see something like this winter over, but it is already starting to go to seed, which means it has to be harvested. Once a green like this goes to seed, it gets very bitter. But with arugula, oh boy, this is going to be quite a treat tonight. And we actually have some collards down there doing the same thing. If I don't get to these, that time that was spent over the winter is basically useless because the plants aren't going to taste good. So I've pulled out some of these plants, but there's a couple here. I'm going to leave them in and see if after cutting them, pardon me, Max, we're filming. We're going to see if these will just continue to grow as leafy greens, or if they do send up another seed head, they'll be done, but I want to see what happens. All right, we got some more harvesting to do. This is going to the compost. Well, all winter long, these collards were living under some plastic, and they survived, but again, they're starting to get long, they're starting to go to seed, they want to reproduce. And if I let them go, I could save the seeds and make some more collard, but I had them in here over the winter because I want to eat them. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to harvest these, and these will need to be cooked down a little bit, but that's okay. You know, imagine not even into April yet, and we're already harvesting stuff from the garden. That's a good feeling, I'll tell you. When will normal people start harvesting? All right. Now, it's time for one of my favorite spring jobs, planting the pansies. But before we get there, there's something you have to see along the way. Oh, these are glorious snow. Bulbs were planted in the fall. Start off with 20 and eventually you're going to have 100, then 200. The deer don't like them, and just look at them. This is the time of the year to start pansies. They love cold weather, and it's going to get cold again, but there's nothing Mother Nature has left in her that can stop pansies, and I love to plant them close to the house to get instant color. I'm actually going to pair some pansies with violas. I love these colors, and we're just going to fill up these containers. There's nothing to it, and I've got them all around the house that I'm going to plant. There are lots of different colors you can go with. And these plants look really nice. Those roots, that's perfect. Oh, does it feel good to have the first set of pansies in? I'm going to water these in, and then we're going to finish up. Really soak them in. Boy, it's great to be back out in the spring garden. We got a lot done today. Now, check me out online. That's where you can find other stories, blog posts, videos, and also where my Seed of the Month Club is. I'm going to send you my favorite seeds, and I know they'll thrive in your garden. Now, until next week, I'm going to have some fun with pansies and violas and get all these containers filled up. We'll see you then. Boy, it was great to get so much done today. Now, check me out online. That's where you can find more stories, blog posts, videos. Oh, Maxie, you're quite a character.
He's like laughing.